Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you watched my last video, my Get Ready With Me, I talked a little bit about the direction that this channel will be going in and the type of content that will be posted. And I mentioned a lot about health and wellness. So today we're gonna take a little dive in deeper and I'm gonna let you guys know what has been going on and what exactly I was talking about in that video. So there's a disorder that I was diagnosed with last October 2019 that I have been going back and forth about if I wanted to share or not, but I got diagnosed, I did a Google search, and then I decided to do a YouTube search so I can watch some videos and, you know, hear some stories and stuff from women who are also going through the same thing I am, right? So as I'm doing that, I saw nobody that looked like me, nobody of color talking about this disorder. That opened up my eyes and just made me be like, look, I know you're a private person. I'm pretty private. I don't like to share a lot of stuff, but this is something that you need to bring awareness to in your community because they don't know. And so many women have this disorder and they just don't even know that they do. That is mind-boggling to me. So I'm here to share my story and just let you guys know exactly what this disorder is and what to look for, and if you do have these symptoms, to go see your doctor because you don't want to go undiagnosed because that can lead to lifelong complications and we don't want that. So I'm here to help. So what I'm talking about is PCOS, which is polycystic ovary syndrome, which is a hormonal, metabolic, and reproductive disorder. With PCOS, your ovaries are enlarged and little cysts form around the outer edges of your ovaries. So it interferes with how your period regulates and how you ovulate, which makes it the leading cause of infertility in women. If you're trying to get pregnant and you don't know why, and if you have any of these symptoms that I say throughout this video, please go see your doctor because that can be why you can't get pregnant. Usually if you can't get pregnant and you're trying to get pregnant, you'll see your doctor anyway. But if you haven't, please see your doctor. So with me, I did the bad thing. I started having my symptoms. I was like, this is not normal for me. So I kind of played a Google doctor, which I know we're not supposed to do, but I did it and that popped up and I was like, what is this? I never heard of it before, never heard of PCOS in my life. And I was like, maybe I have this, but I don't know. I need obviously a doctor's opinion. So I went to the doctor and I did get diagnosed, and I'll tell you guys more about my experience with it a little bit later in this video. But when I shared what I was going through with my family, they're like, what is that? So that just let me know that our community just has no idea what this is. So doctors don't exactly know what the cause of PCOS is, but they do think it has a lot to do with your genetics and just your environmental factors. They just play a big part in how this comes about because it kind of just appears out of nowhere. Your body just changes out of nowhere and you're like, what is going on? That's what happened to me. This disorder affects 1 in 10 women. 50% of women go undiagnosed, and you do not want to go undiagnosed because it can cause lifelong complications and other serious conditions that you do not want to go through. I don't want anybody to go through. When I saw what could happen if I was to keep going undiagnosed, I was scared for my life. But I don't want to scare anybody because some people, especially in our Black community, will know something's wrong, but they don't want to go to the doctor because they don't want to be told that something's wrong. But I'm that type of person where please go get checked because you're just prolonging and making things worse. When I heard of the things that can happen if you do go undiagnosed, I was so shocked, and I was so thankful that when I did develop the symptoms that I was smart enough and humble enough, I guess, to go and see what was wrong. So like I said, it can cause infertility in women. It can lead to anxiety and depression, obesity, endometrial cancer. When I saw the word cancer, scared. Type 2 diabetes. That's scary as well. liver disease, and cardiovascular disease. Now, Black women are the main people who die from heart disease and just all types of diseases. And the fact that our Black community does not know much about this disorder, which leads up to all of this, diabetes, cancer, we have to know. And I am here to bring awareness because it just has to stop. We have to do better. We have to take care of ourselves. And people are just dying younger and younger and younger. And it's scary to think about. It's really, really scary. There are 5 different types of PCOS. So the first most common type 1, is insulin resistant, which means that your body is not taking in sugar and breaking it down right, so it just stores it and makes it as fat. You have an irregular period, you're not ovulating all the time, you have insulin resistance, so you're probably putting on some weight, and you have elevated testosterone, so you might be growing facial hair or excessive arm hair, just like manly type things that you didn't have before. So the second one, non-insulin resistant, which is type 2 PCOS, and with this you still have the irregular periods, you're not ovulating quite often, and you just have the elevated testosterone. The third type is non-traditional PCOS. So with this, you still have the irregular periods and you're insulin resistant. And with this one, you don't have the extra testosterone. And the fourth is non-traditional PCOS 2. With this, you're insulin resistant and you have elevated testosterone, but no ovulatory dysfunction with that. And the fifth, idiopathic hirsutism, and just with that you only have the elevated testosterone. So other signs and symptoms of PCOS are irregular periods, like we said, severe acne, fatigue, a low sex drive, infertility, weight gain, anxiety and depression, hair loss, excessive facial and body hair, like we said, small cysts on your ovaries. You're not gonna know if you have that unless you go to the doctor. Insulin resistance, you won't really know that unless you go to the doctor, unless you see that you're just gaining weight excessively, like really, really fast. If you have any of those symptoms, you might want to go and see your doctor. How the doctor determines if you have PCOS is if you're telling your doctor symptoms that you're having, and if you have 3 of those symptoms that I'm naming, they're gonna diagnose you with PCOS. They're gonna run some tests, blood tests, to make sure that your levels are normal, and if they're not, they'll let you know. There is no cure for it, but there is treatment. So it's something that you have to learn how to deal with. The main thing that doctors do when they say that you have PCOS, they're gonna put you on a birth control. They're gonna wanna put you on birth control unless you wanna get pregnant. So they can help you get pregnant by giving you hormones to get pregnant to increase your fertility, or they'll give you metformin to prevent diabetes, and that also depends on what type of PCOS that you have. I personally don't like birth control. Like, I just don't like putting fake hormones into my body, but if it helps balance what I need it to balance and give me more estrogen, then I can see why. I can talk about me and my story, how I was diagnosed. So I started working a desk job. Once I started working at this desk job, I just gained weight so fast, and the only thing that I was doing was sitting there all day and eating. I wasn't eating the right things. Things I was eating had lots and lots and lots of sugar. If you guys have been following me on Instagram, you know, there was a time everybody's like, oh, you're getting thick, you're getting thick. And I'm like, yeah, and everyone's like, yeah, you got married and, you know, you're just putting on the marriage weight, you know, the happy weight. I thought that's what it was as well. I'm like, I've been married. By this time last year we made 3 years of marriage. I mean, that's still like the honeymoon phase, but I'm like, I've been married a little bit too long to be now just putting on happy weight. At first, I'm like, ooh, butt's getting bigger, you know, stuff like that. I'm like, ooh, I'm putting on a little weight, I'm getting a little thick. Like, because I always wanted to have a little bit of thickness to me, right? So I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, I'm accepting it. So then I noticed, okay, I'm not a hairy person at all, but then my arms, like this part of my arms, started growing hair out of nowhere, and I'm like, okay, that's weird, but I didn't really think anything of it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm getting older, maybe because you know your body just changes with age. So that's what I'm thinking is happening. But then I just started gaining too much weight, like too fast, and it started looking ugly to me, especially in my stomach area. So with PCOS, you gain a lot of weight in your stomach, and that's where most of my weight started to go. And once I saw that, I'm like, no, this is not cute. No, I don't like this. Something is off. So I went from being 125 pounds to 145 pounds. That's a lot of weight to put on in a span of, when did I start seeing changes? So May 2019 to October, I gained that much weight. I always had a fast metabolism. I have been sitting, and I was a very active person. I played sports, I danced all through high school and everything, and I never had that much weight on me. So when I gained the weight, I'm like, ugh. Then my period stopped. I didn't have my period for June 2019 to September 2019. So I went the whole summer without having a period, and I'm like, what is going on? So then I started, the first sign that something was really wrong, my face, my skin. I've always had like pimples and stuff. I don't want to say I had acne, but I mean, I guess I had hormonal acne like during my puberty, during all that time when, you know, teenagers normally go through that. I dealt with it, and then it subsided when I got older. Then I started getting like hormonal chin acne, things like that, and my face got really greasy. Like I started battling that. So I had about 4 different symptoms telling me that something was wrong, telling me that you have to go to the doctor. So I don't even know when exactly I developed it. I probably developed it, I'm like, okay, I don't have my period, this is not normal, gaining too much weight. Like maybe, I know I googled, if you gain too much weight too fast, your body's not used to it, so your period will stop. So then I started getting my period like off and on throughout the year. I got my period off and on, but it was very irregular, and then I went 3 months without having a period. So like it just stopped. So I'm like, okay, this is not normal. At the beginning of October, I decided to find a doctor. Now for me, finding a doctor is very important. For me, I had to have a Black female doctor. I searched for my doctor. I finally found her, and I feel like she cares about Black women. I feel like as Black women, that is so important. I feel like a female can relate to really what I'm going through, especially with my reproductive system. So I went, I found her, and I told her what exactly was going on. I had my annual women's exam, and she asked if I had any concerns or anything. So I told her that I hadn't had my period since June. So she asked me some questions. I said I gained a lot of weight. I went from 125 pounds to 145 pounds in the span of a few months. I did not feel good. Like when I first started gaining the weight, like I said, I was like, ooh, and then after a while, I'm like, I don't feel good. This weight doesn't feel good. And I stopped being active because at PCOS, I did not know that it was affecting me mentally and physically, and I just didn't want to do nothing. I got so lazy, and I'm just like eating crap that I'm not supposed to be eating. She was like, well, sounds to me like you have PCOS. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do some labs. So they took some blood work from me, and the lady took so much blood from me. They ran about like 5 or 6 different tests to see all of my different levels of my hormones, and to see my insulin level, all types of stuff like that. And I had to wait for it to come back, but she diagnosed me with it. She knew I had it, but she wanted to make sure that I had it, or she actually gave me the diagnosis. But she was like, well, are you trying to get pregnant? Because if you are, then there's an option of doing like fertility shot. We're not trying to get pregnant right now. So my other option was birth control, and like I said, I'm kind of against the birth control, but at that time I had to do something to regulate my period. Currently I do take birth control, but I'm actually trying to get off of it, and we will go more into that when I try what I'm going to try, and I'll share it with you and let you guys know. So she gave me birth control, and I told her, I was like, I was on birth control before and it made me crazy. So she gave me the lowest dosage. I did not get prescribed metformin. I know a lot of people get prescribed that, so I'm guessing I'm not pre-diabetic, thank God. When my results came back in, she let me know that my levels were not that bad. So I didn't have like a severe case of it. But obviously, like I said, it can get worse. So we weren't trying for it to get worse. She scheduled me also for a ultrasound to see what my ovaries looked like. And I was so scared to do this ultrasound. My husband came with me and we were looking at my ovaries. We're like, we don't know what the heck we're looking at. So usually, like I said, there's little cysts forming around the outer edges of your ovaries, and you can literally see like circles. But on mine, there was nothing there. Like my ovaries, there's nothing wrong with my ovaries. Like they said, environmental factors, which can mean your lifestyle. So me sitting down, becoming inactive, eating nothing but sugar, and just not really paying attention to my body played a part in me developing this disorder. So important to stay active and to eat right. I had to change my whole diet. That is another video in itself that we will be talking about. That's my experience with being diagnosed with PCOS. It was very scary, but after I got the diagnosis, I was happy to know that now I know what is going on in my body, and I know that there is no cure and there is a way to reverse your symptoms. That's another video that we will talk about how I reversed my symptoms, but I am thankful that I got diagnosed and that I am healthy. I've been to the doctor for a follow-up and to see how things are going. So yeah, I just really want to spread awareness to this disorder. You're not gonna die unless you don't take care of yourself, really. Like, it's not a death sentence. Just with the information that I gave you, please pay attention to your body. And if you have any of these symptoms that I just named, please, please, please go see your doctor so that you do not keep going around untreated. So I hope you guys are informed. I hope you guys learned some things. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. Leave some comments below. Let me know if you're ready to go on this journey with me and learn some more things. Follow me on Instagram, like me on Facebook, and let's just stay healthy, guys. Let's stay healthy. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.